The key to stimulating muscle growth is the intensity of the exercise.
Hammers. Build your body and your bank. Check out how to earn $10K per month plus with my business intelligence, finance technology, consultant training accelerator program. Link in the description.
Welcome back to Hassan Hammer Fitness. All right, I've gotten ready. It's time to smash an arm workout. That's biceps, triceps, and shoulders. But if you're new here, let me give you a bit of an overview. I am driving to the gym. Usually I like to work out at night. And I like to train in the style of hypertrophy. And for this channel, specifically, what we are doing is we are exploring the question, is it possible to put on 50 pounds of muscle naturally? And essentially, what I'm after is I'm trying to showcase the audience that yes, it is absolutely possible, and that PEDs is not performance enhancement drugs or steroids or anything is not required, especially for a lot of the gains that I see people trying to get online. There's some sort of culture that without TRT or PEDs, you cannot make gains. And I want to show that that's not true. You cannot compete competitively at a professional level without PEDs, but you can put up to 50 pounds of muscle naturally. And what makes me qualified to speak on this topic? So pretty much, I've been training for about three years now. The first year I only did cardio, so I'm not going to count that, but I was skinny fat. I went from about 150 pounds to 127 pounds at 9% body fat. I got very lean. I did that by, I got to drive carefully so the camera does not fall. I don't have it secured. And yeah, so I did that by 15 minutes of HIIT cardio daily. That's high intensity interval training. And I did that mainly for the cognitive benefit because I found that I was having difficulty concentrating for as long as I needed to. But when I exercised, I had razor sharp focus. That's how that started. And I did that 7 days a week as a remedy to my focus requirements. And I ended up getting fit, awesomely. Now, after a year, I wanted to get back into strength training and weightlifting and all of that. I used to do it as a teenager. I did it for about 3 years. I plateaued at 150 pounds, 160 pounds, if you can believe that. I started off very skinny and I quit, okay? Because I bought into the whole online mantra, you need TRT and steroids and all of that to make gains. The exact same narrative that I'm now seeing like more than a decade later. So luckily, this time I already knew how to train because I had done it for 3 years in my teens. So in 2 years, I put on 40 pounds of muscle, if you can believe that. And if you don't believe that, you know what, it is a big claim, but just click on my channel banner and look at the picture, click on my channel, look at the banner. On the left side, you'll see me at 130 pounds, which is like a stick. And on the right side, you'll see me at 170. And that was over 24 months. So how do you do that? Basically, you need to get two things right. One is nutrition and two is training technique. Now, for nutrition, the only thing that I did, okay, is, I'm not saying this is ideal, but this is what worked for me, is I woke up, I ate 6 eggs, I throw out 3 yolks, and I ate 6 eggs, and throughout the day I had 3 protein shakes, each with a scoop of creatine, so that's 15 grams of creatine, and yes, I know that's triple the recommended dose, but for cognitive enhancement under the conditions of sleep deprivation, 20 to 30 grams is recommended. For strength training, 5 grams is recommended. I go 15 grams for the cognitive enhancement as well. My work entails knowledge work. I was a project manager before, and now I'm running a project management academy. So I really need to focus. But I do feel you should also do 15 grams of creatine daily as a requirement. 3 protein shakes, each with a scoop of creatine as a baseline requirement. This is one of the key elements I did that absolutely made a difference. And why is that? Because every single thing comes down to protein synthesis. When you exercise, it increases the rate of protein synthesis. If you take steroids, it increases the rate of protein synthesis. If you eat protein, it increases the rate of protein synthesis. And when the rate of protein synthesis is greater than the rate of decay of protein synthesis or something like that, then you add muscle. If it's less, then you lose muscle. So we go after it with protein and training, not with PEDs. And that's the technique. And why specifically protein shakes? Because it has a full range of amino acid profile and it absorbs the best. Whey protein, New Zealand grass-fed, the sweetener with stevia instead of sucralose, so it does not give you stomach upset. That's how I do it. The second thing is nailing the training. Okay, so both of these things are required. It's not like one is more important than the other. You got to get 100% on one and 100% on the other. And notice how I didn't say you got a calorie count, you got to do all this crazy stuff. No, just get the protein, eat the eggs in the morning, take your multivitamins and all of that, of course, and then train correctly. And when it comes to training correctly, what you got to do is you have to use intensity techniques. As a natural athlete, this is an absolute must. Intensity techniques and progressive overload. Okay, so intensity technique, what is that? Supersets, drop sets, rest pauses, lengthened partial reps. You have to use them extensively. Okay, it's not just about progressive overload. It's not just about going to failure, because when you go to failure, it's only the last 3 reps that really count. Okay, and then you take a 3-second rest pause, and then you do those last 3 reps again. You take a 3-second rest pause, you do it again. And then once you're fully fatigued, you do half reps, partial reps. And that's how I did it. So using intensity techniques extensively, and then getting the protein shake formula correct. Those 2 things, when I combine them together with working out every other day, so chest and back off, arms off, and then legs off, that's how I put on 40 pounds of muscle. It's very simple. You just can't go in there and half-ass it. You do need to put in the intensity techniques, but if you do, the results will come. I guarantee you that you will see more results like this with any other method. Now, you do have to log your reps and weight. When it comes to progressive overload, it doesn't mean you go to the gym and you're looking for increasing the weight every single time you go. It also doesn't mean you're going to progressively overload every single exercise, because, for example, side laterals are much more difficult to progressively overload than, for example, something like deadlifts. Okay, but there is an element of progressive overload as a foundation to your training, because you're logging everything, and at the minimum, you are matching the reps. You got to do that. And if it takes you 3 months to get another rep, so be it, but at least you know you're after it. For example, for me, with 185 pounds, to get to the 10th rep, it took me over 3 months. But because I tracked it, I was able to do it. And these things, when you combine them together, if you get them right in the beginning and you combine them with your newbie gains, which you only get once, you'll probably put on more than 20 pounds of muscle in the first year. But I will conclude the theoretical talk over here, and we shall go into the gym, and I'll see you guys in there. All right, we have made it to the gym. Now, I do warm up with 2 plates and 20 reps of full range of motion, aster-grass squats, as they call it. And I replaced 5 minutes of stair climbers for this. So I'm doing this because I need to find every source of trying to pack on additional weight, because after putting on 40 pounds, it's become harder. And what I've noticed is when I hit legs really hard, the rest of my body grows, I think because of testosterone boost. So during leg day, of course, I train my legs, but every other workout, I do start with 20 reps of hack squats, which I find work really well. I did do about a minute of stretches before jumping into this. These do get you out of breath, so I'm going to pace myself. Now, when I first started, for the first year, I just did 1 plate, 20 reps, 9 sets for leg day. I didn't do it like this, so by all means, work your way up. I find by rep 15 gets you fully out of breath, which is pretty amazing. Gets you out of breath faster than stair climber. There you go, 5 more to go. I'm gonna try changing stance. All right, so part 1 of the warm-up. Second part, I do accessory lifts, which for arm day is calves. For chest day is traps. For legs, there's no accessory lift, but next we'll do calves. Okay, so calves, I only started training about 6 months ago, but they responded well. I had this misconception that they don't really grow. But turns out that's incorrect. Somebody at this gym actually told me definitely train them. Once I started, I'm glad I did. Now, the way I train these is 2 sets. The first is an ignition set, where you pre-exhaust the muscle. I got that from Athlean-X. And then the second set is a multi-level drop set with partial reps to fatigue it. So right now it's only about 20 pounds. And it's very light, but I'm going to do about 20 reps, or as many as I can really, to wake the muscle up, and I'll prime it for the working set. I'll wear this. So the full stretch position here is very important. And well, you know you're doing it right when it burns without you even moving. Like right there, it burns a lot. So you want to get to that position. For calves, that's where the growth really kicks in. You do want to keep your knee straight here because otherwise the load transfers on to your soleus, which run down the side of the bulbous part of your calves and behind it instead of the main meaty part at the back. Knees perfectly straight here is a requirement if you're trying to hit the gastros, which I definitely am. That's the back part with the 2 heads and all of that. Okay, so I would say I'm about 95% to failure. So I'll pause there for the exhaustion set, the set number 1. All right, set number 2. So this is actually the first working set since the last one was pre-exhaustion. So what I do here is that's about 70 pounds. So still not a lot, but we're gonna do what's called run down the rack. So I'm gonna do 70 pounds, 60 pounds, 50 pounds, like a multi-level drop set. And on each level, there will be partials. So this gets them to exhaustion pretty quickly, and it keeps them in the exhaustion range. And that's how you can get away with 1 working set, and it absolutely works really well. Better than anything else I would try, like high volume or something like that. High volume with high intensity will of course work as well, but 1 exhaustion set and 1 working set, multi-level drop set with partials, I find to be very efficient and effective. So that's pretty close to failure. So I'll have to do a slow motion to try to get 1 more. Okay, they failed. And then I'll switch to partials. Continue the partials, better footing. Okay, so they feel pretty good. They're on fire. They're close to failure. They were at failure, but now that I'm taking a rest pause, they're close to failure. And I'll do the same heavy weight maybe once more, just because It's the heavy starting point, so I'll take a rest pause and do this first level twice. And they failed at 1.5. Now, normally 1.5 reps would not be effective. There's just not enough time under tension. However, because we're running down the rack, the reps will add up. So I'll take another rest pause. Just about 5 seconds or so.
Yeah.
They're a failure, but I'm going to go for... All right, that's not happening. I'll take a rest pause and then do the partials because they totally were at failure. The partials are very small range of motion, but because they're at the stretch position, they really burn and work. Okay, so I worked my way from 70 and now I'm at 50. And I'll just continue doing that. Couple of reps, couple of partials. By the end of the set, it'll be a really effective and productive set. And that's essentially the essence of intensity techniques. Finding that hypertrophy zone. Which is slightly different than weight training, where you just try to increase the weight. But it is similar in the way that you do track progressive overload. Two more levels to go after this. That concludes calf accessory. Now there is one more element to my warm-up. My warm-ups have become a bit elaborative and lengthy, but I do feel they're effective, so I continue doing them. The first was the 20 rep of hack squats. The second is the accessory lift, the calves. And the third is one set of max rep pull-ups with partials. And I do them on every exercise session as well, except on back day, because I work it out anyways. But just through doing that, I was able to work my way up to 18 reps, actually 19, if I really go for it. 19 reps, full range of motion, all the way up, all the way down. Dead hang, the chin above the bar, and I was researching that. That's very hard to do. From the stats I got from researching, only like 0.1% of lifters can do that. And at my age, at 37, according to the research, I used AI, there's only a very few amount of 37-year-olds in the entire world who can do that. So that's pretty amazing to me, because first I was only about to do about like 12 when I really started. I started after about, 6 months into it. I started doing pull-ups for warm-up. Slowly I worked my way up to 15. I could do 15 regularly for 3 months, then I got 16, then 17 became regular, and now 18 is pretty much regular. I got to an elite level of pull-ups just by doing them as warm-up, one set with partials with proper range of motion. So that's why I'm doing it, because highly productive. Okay, calves are on fire. And this is the last level of the drop set. Here, what I want to do is I want to make sure I go ham, hence the channel name Hammers. I go ham on partials. Ooh, they're wearing green. Okay, I don't know if it's noticeable from there, but that was 40 partials. And now my calves are like, I'm barely able to lift them. So that will conclude the calf accessory lift. All right, so time for pull-ups. Now, after this, I'll start the actual arm exercise. I do still aim to keep the whole workout under an hour, but the warm-up is effective because I need to train my calves. Hitting 20 reps on that boosts overall testosterone, and pull-ups is the king of exercises, so doing them is never a bad thing. Okay, I'm gonna get in the zone, and I'm aiming for 18 perfect reps, ideally, and 5 partial. Chapter birth positive 15. One more. All right, one more. I'll go for 19. And then partials. Sweet. I can normally do 18. 19, I have to push myself, so that was pretty much failure. But if I keep doing that for warm-up, they'll improve. Okay, let's go to the arm workout. All right, time for shoulders. So pretty much for shoulders, it's going to be one ignition set, aka pre-exhaustion set, 20 pounds, 20 reps, nice and clean. 2 working sets, each with a drop set and partials. And I'll conclude shoulders, then I'll go on to triceps, which will be behind the head, overhead tricep press, ignition set, then drop set with partials. After that will be tricep pushdown, multi-level drop set. I'll conclude triceps, then we'll go on to biceps, which will be 1 exercise, barbell curl, 2 sets, each with partial reps, and the second set has a drop set. And I'll conclude the arm workout. So I'm going to start with the 20 reps of shoulders for ignition set. Okay, so that's 20 pounds. Now I'm going to do 30 pounds and 20 pounds for the next 2 working sets. All right, working set number 1, side laterals. So 16 full reps, 16 partials with the 30s, and then the same thing with the 20s. Rest, pause as needed because this can get tough. All right, just have 16 partials. I know these don't look like much. But after you've reached failure, they are. Okay, so now the drop set portion. So the 20s. And same thing. Okay, they're at failure. At number 8. I'll take a rest pause. Just like 5 seconds, nothing crazy. Get rid of the immediate lactic acid buildup. All right, that's 13. Take another rest pause. Partials. That's 10, 6 more. All right, sweet. One more set like that and we're done shoulders. So you can see how this is efficient. All right, set number 2. This one is 17 plus 13 and 13 plus 13. Even though there's only 2 working sets, of course there's drops and all that in there. Shoulders are one of my best growing body parts, so it is definitely a testament that this technique works. Intensity techniques with pre-exhaustion. All right, 17 plus 13, 13 plus 13. Oh. All right, that's 10. 7 more, take a rest pause. All right, that's 13. Shoulders at failure, so I'm just gonna stretch them out. Take a 5-second rest pause. Got 4 more. One more. And then partials. All right, so drop set. That concludes shoulders. We are now operating in the beyond failure region. So I need 13 plus 13. All right, that's 4. And the shoulders are at maximum burn. All right, that's 13. All right, that concludes shoulders. Time for triceps.
All right, time for triceps. So same formula once again. The first set is going to be an ignition set, also known as a pre-exhaustion set. That way the multi-level drop set works a lot better. So I'm going to do about 20 reps. It's 32 pounds. Alright, that's 20. We failed at 20, so we rushed it. We'll do some partials. So even on ignition set, often you get pretty close to failure, even though the weight is not that high. But next set will be a working set, the superset. Alright, working set. So I'm going to do 50 pounds, and then it's going to be 8 full reps, and then partial reps, and then 30 pounds, 27.5 technically, and then as many as I can with that. Alright, I need one more. I'm going to put the load on my lats to take a rest pause. Sloppy reps, but I'll take it. Okay, partials, take a rest pause. Let the load transfer to my lats. Alright, that was pretty challenging, but I did get it. And when I say I'm transferring the loads onto my lat, what I'm doing is I'm doing a scapular protraction like that. And that takes the load off of the triceps and gives me a rest pause. Alright, take a rest pause. Alright, they failed. Into some partials. Okay, so that's the first working set. The second working set will be tricep pushdown, where I start at about 90 pounds, and I do a multi-level drop set, and I work my way down the stack. So that'll be set number 2. Set number 2, working set for triceps, multi-level drop set. Put on 90 pounds. So I'm just going to run down the stack and throw everything I can at it. So I'll start with the heavy weight with partial reps, or rest pauses a couple of times just to get the stimulus from the heavy weight. Alright, that's all I got for that. Can knock it down by one level. Knock it down. Alright, knock it down. Alright, I'll take a rest pause. My failure. Triceps are absolutely engorged with blood. Even my neck is. So even though I'm only getting about 3 reps, through the 5 to 10 level drop set, it adds up to 15 to 20 reps, 15 to 25, 30 reps. And each rep is productive, each rep is near failure. And you can see why drop sets are effective, because they get rid of the jump volume. And still, I have about 10 minutes left before my 1 hour mark is up. So all you gotta do is train every other day for an hour. Just gotta train correctly with the intensity techniques, and it is very possible to put on 50 pounds of muscle. I'll put on 40 if I got 10 more to go. But it is possible. Abs are cramping. Yeah, I got arms after this. Triceps are a failure. Okay. I want to pause there. At 38 pounds. Now let's go work out arms. The triceps are completely done. Alright, time for arms, but before moving on, let's check out a little bit of this pump. So far we've done shoulders and triceps. And the pump is pretty good. Alright, time for biceps. So pretty much I do 2 working sets with this, no pre-exhaustion. 80 pounds, 10 reps plus 6 partials. And then the second set is 80 pounds, drops it to 60 pounds, both with partials. So let's go for the 10 first. Alright, partials. Alright, one more set to go and we're done the workout. Now, this weight, 80 pounds, I started at 60. Like two years ago. Slowly I got to 10 reps, then 15. Then I changed from 60 to 70. 70 I only got like 5 reps. Then 10, then 15. Then I changed to 80. I didn't even think I could get 1. Got 5. Got 6, got 7. Now I can do 10. So it took 2 years to get to that point. To go from 60 pounds to 80 pounds. But that is the essence of progressive overload. You don't come to the gym every day and try to increase the weight. I increased the weight by 20 pounds over 2 years by meticulously tracking the reps. And that's, in my opinion, that's progressive overload. Okay, next set. Alright, working set number 2. Barbell curls. 6 plus 7, 5 plus 5. 80 pounds, drops it to 60 pounds. Partials. Or drop set to 60 pounds. Alright, so our partials to go. Alright, sweet. Alright, I can close the workout. I went over by 10 minutes from my 1 hour mark, but a pretty good pump. We'll go check out the pumps, actually, now. Alright. That was a solid workout. Have a good pump. Okay, so let's check it out. I'm going to start with the front and bicep. Side tricep, just pulls out how difficult you look. Not to flame your lats and then press your tricep against them, all that, but I don't know. Just do the pull. Okay, back to the left. Really lat square here. Get up behind pump. We didn't want that on so we get that out. Also in Charlie, we don't do I found it, there's impressive is the right but I guess that's great. Okay, so I'll work out to an hour and 10 minutes, which is pretty good. I'm happy with that. 1 hour every other day I think is reasonable. We'll call it there. And if you join me, next time we'll see you guys for legs. Legs is a chill workout, almost like a separate sport, so we'll see you guys then. Take care.
Hey, are you interested in project management consulting? Check out my blog where you can get a free roadmap on how to earn $10,000 per month or more in BI-FinTech consulting. That's business intelligence, finance technology consulting. Pretty much that's a fancy way of saying project management consulting in software data projects. This is my core expertise. I studied aerospace engineering, then pivoted, then became a professional project manager and cloud solutions architect. I can teach you how to do this. If you're looking to supercharge your career, be sure to check out my blog and roadmap. Totally for free, link in the description.
The key to stimulating muscle growth is the intensity of the exercise.